again, another one where it's like, hold up, there's a lot to go over here. But before that, I had this thought on the way over here. Um, why why isn't stand up coverable? Have you ever thought about that? I've never heard of anyone, any comedian asking another comedian, like, hey man, like, I really love this bit that you do. Can I just, like, do it for a week? Just, like, throw it into the middle of the act. It's, like, 2 minutes long. And I'm even going to credit you. I'll even say, hey, this next bit is a cover bit by one of my favorite comics, X. No one, I've never heard of a comedian doing that. And it's always made me wonder why music is so coverable. It's covered all the time. I've been to concerts where the band won't even sometimes announce they're covering the artist, play it, then don't even say it after. They just keep going. And one of the first few times I ever saw that, it was after I already started doing comedy, and like I already had this mindset where like you can't do someone else's shit. Like I would never do that. I don't ever want to. I love writing my own material. It's very about me. It just, nothing else would work. But the first time I saw a musician do it at a concert, I'm like, did they call them before? Like, is there a thing you sign? Do they send them a check? Like, how the fuck? And I think it turns out it's a fucking free-for-all. Like, everyone is covering everyone in music, and it doesn't matter. To the point where it started, like, cottage industries. There's, like, a whole karaoke industry where you and I can just go cover someone, and that business will get your money to provide a microphone so you and your drunk idiot friends can sit around on your fucking birthday and sing a Nirvana song. And then there's cover bands, tribute bands that go on tour and make money. It's a fucking free-for-all in the music world. Some bands also will cover a song and then put it on their debut album. Why would you spend some of your time announcing yourself to the world as an artist with your own thoughts by covering someone else's song? I don't know, but it works. I have a million fucking cover songs that I like, but why is it that comedians never cover comedians? Beyond that, like, you know, it's our own personal material. Like, well, I'm sure a lot of musicians feel that way. Last Kiss, that was covered by Pearl Jam, was a deeply personal song. Someone can't cover that? Is it too personal? No. There's plenty of songs about heartbreak, death, divorce, covered all the time. So why is it? Now, you can't make the argument also that it's never happened, because if you go back far enough, all comedy ever was covered. It was just a bunch of stock jokes that who knows who fucking wrote, probably someone in the vaudeville days, and then they sort of were passed around, and comics would just go do them while opening for musicians or playing strip clubs or whatever it was, before comedy had that breakthrough in the 50s, 60s, Lenny Bruce, and Dick Gregory and all those guys, Robert Klein in the 60s, 70s, that made comedy a more personal thing, or political, like Mort Saul. But again, music does the same thing. Why don't comics cover other comics? The only answer I can arrive at is that comedy still isn't big enough for other comedians to share a piece of that pie. Like, if someone was like, hey, I'm going to be a Chris Rock cover act, there's no way that his material's just been out there long enough to where he would be like, yeah, whatever, just give me a small royalty and you can go do my shit. It just wouldn't happen. It's not like the Rolling Stones or any of these other artists that have made all this money over the years to where they don't even notice. And the other thing maybe is that music has more repeat value, I think. But then if I'm playing devil's advocate with myself, which I am, there's no one here, some comics do have repeat value. And some comics are so impersonal that they're just like Stephen Wright is, in my opinion, would be an extremely coverable comedian. He didn't have any like personal take on anything. Mitch Hedberg too. He had a very unique delivery, and he was a great writer. But he could be covered, and he's dead. He's not gonna do his shit anymore. I wouldn't want to see it go that way, and I don't think it will. I think if that were to happen, it probably already would have. And if I'm being honest, I just, there is no good reason why it hasn't. Maybe comedy is. And I don't want to sound like, oh, comedy is this like insanely hard art form and the others are not, but maybe it's like because every fucking night there's still this challenge where you have to go up, you're only as good as your last set. Maybe that's why. That even though those jokes that work, you still have to prove that they work again. Because every audience is, every 10, 20 seconds, they're listening, you have to make them laugh. But a lot of music is, you can fucking have full-on conversations during a concert. The songs are still playing. I know the bands notice it and they're probably not thrilled about it, but if you're comparing comedy and music, you can get away with that. So maybe we just hold it more dearly. And if you have any answers, leave one in the comments and let me know. I'm going to tie in the comedy and music thing here with this cover song stuff. Music has been covered comedically to a very successful degree. Nobody has done it better than Weird Al Yankovic. Flat out genius, incredible, love him. Love him ever since I was a kid. My first awareness of a cover song, the song Dr. Feelgood, I thought it was a Weird Al original. A few years later, I heard Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood and thought it was so weird that Motley Crue covered a Weird Al song. What? I don't know. And then I found out it was obviously the other way around. I think some kid pointed out in school. He's like, "You idiot," This list of covers, which will also be a playlist on my Apple Music, and all this will be in the description. You can click on that. I'll also make a YouTube playlist of all these songs. To me, a lot of these songs are covers that the artist took and made kind of their own. And some of them so convincingly that if I had heard it first, I would be surprised that it was the other way around. Or I would hear the original and be like, you know what? I can't go backwards. I have to listen to Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah, even though Leonard Cohen's is fantastic. There's about 20-something songs and a few entire cover albums, which I think is also a big undertaking. But to pick one, the one I picked, which you saw in my Instagram story, is Sturgill Simpson covering Nirvana's In Bloom. It changed the song. His cover of In Bloom is haunting and just like moving in a way that the original I don't think was for me, but this one is. So that was my one pick that I had to pick, but I got a ton. Elvis Presley did a great cover of Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. Fuck. The video too, which will be on the YouTube playlist, is crazy. He's like fat, sweaty Elvis at a piano, and it looks like he's being possessed by this fucking song. It's great. Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, covered by Johnny Cash. Another one where you're like, you are feeling this like it's your own. It's a great one. Nirvana did 3 covers on their Unplugged, and every one of them was fucking awesome. That Pearl Jam one I mentioned was phenomenal. The Cavaliers, I guess, or was the original artist or someone like that. They made it better than the original. I felt like Eddie Vedder went through it. That to me is what I look for mainly in a cover. Can you redo it to where it feels like it's your own? So this entire playlist is a lot of that. And I really want to talk more about this comedy being coverable thing, because I can't find the answer, and I really want to. So comment below and let's start a conversation. And then subscribe to these videos, a new one every day until COVID kills us all.